Ever since we've met, I knew from the start that there was no one on earth like you, and that you were someone very special to me. Your kindness, your compassion, your humility, um, your sense of humor, and your character have all drawn me to you, and I knew I wanted you to be a part of my life. You've gone through so much, and I really enjoy being with you. You're my best friend, and I care about you very deeply. You've changed me in many ways. You've influenced me and helped me become a better Christian and be a better man. A lifetime wouldn't be enough time to show you how grateful I am to you, but I really want to try. Ever since you were a little girl, you've been impacted by one of your favorite movies every Christmas, and in the same fashion, I want to give you your ticket to join me on a greatest adventure.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
So cute. You're so cool. I love you.
I love you too.
Oh my gosh, my heart's racing.
So that's the video. Obviously it was my first time doing proposal engagement. I don't do weddings or anything, but this particular couple, they're friends of mine. The guy had asked me if I would be willing to record the proposal at all. And I said, listen, I have no experience, literally none. And I always try to be pretty upfront with that. However, he said, it's gonna be simple, you know, this is all I want. And so I said, all right, well, if you're willing to trust me and take a gamble on me, I think I could shoot it and make sure it's on camera. I can do that, and I can attempt to put together some sort of montage. So I said, oh, okay, we can try this. So I did that, and actually I think the video turned out okay. I'd never seen an engagement proposal video before. I really don't watch wedding videos really, but I just thought, what would they enjoy? What would I enjoy if this was mine? What would I want on camera? And just try to go with that best I could. So here it is. Let's just walk through this video a little bit. So we got there early. However, we had a gardening man come up and say, what are you doing here? To me. I was like, listen, this is where it's gonna take place, so y'all better leave. Just kidding. I was nice about it. And then the girl ended up being about an hour late, which was totally fine. Gave us more breathing room, gave us more time to think about what we wanted to do, especially for me. I was so stressed that I would not be able to get the shot that I needed to, which was just like the kneeling, like the actual proposal. Something's gonna happen. I'm so scared. I've never done it before. If I don't get it, what do I do? I have the backup camera, but I don't know. But I went ahead and set up my main camera with a zoom lens that I had actually borrowed from a friend for the day. We're actually pretty close, so I didn't really need all that, but it was helpful because it was actually a very nice lens. The next issue was that he was planning on doing the proposal in front of a fountain, which was great and everything, but we ran into an audio issue. Like, naturally, we wanted to pick up what he was saying and not the fountain. So actually, a couple days before this, I went all across town to many different stores. I wanted just like a transmitter and receiver, like something proper, because in the past I was just clipping a lav mic to my phone. That worked well enough, but I was like, no one wants to hold my phone in their pocket. Let me just do something more professional. So I went to the store. I saw some really nice ones. I know for sure it was Rode. The other one was like, yeah, I think it was Samson. And they were so nice, but they were like $300, which good gear does cost money. However, in my situation, I wasn't really looking to spend $300 on this. Sitting there in the parking lot, I was like, you know what, let me just test out how well this lav works with my phone. So when it came time to proposal, I made him put my phone in his pocket and I just prayed, and then we just sent him off. And upon reviewing the actual audio from it, it actually was a lot better than I was expecting. You can clearly hear the fountain, but I dropped a denoise on that clip and it sounded even better than that. So back to the proposal. When we heard that she was here and she was walking up, we all had to get ready, get in our spots, and I was very intensely staring at this entrance waiting for her to come in, and I was just checking focus constantly, and I was just checking the pan and making sure. I was like, okay, I have to follow her as she walks up this long walkway. I have to keep her focused, and I have to zoom out a little bit because it was like angled the way that she would walk up, and I was like, oh, it's okay, we'll be fine. So she got there and I was like, sweet, I got the reaction. Then she started walking. I was like, okay, this is going well. And I started racking focus the wrong way. I was so frustrated at myself. But I kept her in frame, and that was the goal. So it worked. And when it came down to the editing, I actually just cut out pieces. She was making a specific expression. I would just kind of keep that in here and then just cut to, see it got blurry there. I would cut to the next part. And then I just kind of kept the important spots, and I did get her important reactions. Hide this is the actual proposal clip, which is just one long clip, which I chopped up. What happened here was that I was all set up, and we had practiced this so many times, just practicing where she would stand, where he would stand. When she came up, she actually stood so close to him that his back covered her for a majority of the time. And I was like, you know what? It's fine. I'll just scooch over. I'll just cut that clip out. I'll just pick up the camera and scooch over. There was a huge cactus next to me. A cactus. So I scooched over as much as I could. Like, the camera was like on the cactus. I wasn't thinking about putting a montage on top of it. That's just what I ended up doing in post, thank God, because it actually really worked well, because his leading up to the proposal, he actually talked for a long time. And it just worked in post-production editing, where I was like, this would be a good time for a montage of all the clips of them that I had gathered. On the field, I just said, I'm just gonna have to film what I can. I know eventually he's gonna get down on one knee and then I'll see her face, but man, this sucks. You know, sometimes like this, she was visible and she was okay, but it was just this part here where he was like in front of her that I was like, oh my God. And finally I was like, bro, okay, I'm just gonna move. I can't. So I started moving like this. The other issue that I ran into was that I actually couldn't hear what he was saying. So I had no idea when he was saying something important or when he was leading up to it. So as you can see here, I actually was still shaking and moving around as he pulled the ring out of his pocket, and you see her reaction right there. Praise the Lord though, I stopped moving and I had the wherewithal to do that because I was shaking like an earthquake right here. I think I just really got lucky in a lot of parts because there was a lot of variables that I wasn't ready for, and these were variables that I knew would happen. It was scary to know that no amount of preparation could really help me get rid of all of those variables, things still happen. So, oh, and here you can see my backup camera actually. She walks right by it. So here's my little Rebel. It's not much. And the other bad thing that happened is it stopped recording. I put the fastest speed card that I had in that camera to just ensure that it wouldn't stop. And granted, it is a backup camera, so it's okay. This is the reason that you have backup cameras. However, it stopped working. But the proposal happened and we went along with the day, and I was like, you know what? That's fine. Can you guys do it again? They ended up actually posing again for the proposal, which is what I actually overlapped right here to look as if I had different angles, which, I mean, this is a complete fabrication right here, but it works. The only continuity error here really is that her mouth is open here, and there she already knows what's gonna happen because obviously it already happened. You know, her getting emotional, her saying yes, obviously those are the most important parts. So let's just do a tiny little bit of him getting down on one knee. Also so that we can give him some camera time, because he really wanted her reaction to be on camera, obviously. Once the actual proposal was finished, they went off and they actually had a good photographer there who was very experienced with shooting couples and weddings and everything, so she just kind of took charge in making sure she got the pictures that she needed to. And I very quickly realized that this could work for the both of us, because as they're being posed, I can work around her and I can just capture them posing for their pictures, and that works. However, you don't want a whole bunch of clips of them frozen in one position, and I did have quite a few of those, but the ones I actually ended up putting in the video were clips of them going in and out of these different poses. A lot of them also too are just very natural things that they were doing. This was real. That's a pose, but obviously it's a moving pose. She wanted a picture of them twirling, but that kind of movement works well for a video as well. This is them going out of that. She's laughing and she's happy because it just happened, and that's her going out of that pose. And some of them, you know, obviously I kept in here, but a lot of them, they're just moving. This I had them do for me. A lot of it just worked for photo and video. So I worked really in the background, unless I had a specific shot like this one where I said, can you do this for just me? And then they went ahead and did that. It ended up being a really successful, not only shoot, but really successful first time proposal shoot for me. But I always tend to say no to these things because I don't have any experience. But also I'm just way too harsh on myself because I'm not Peter McKinnon, but I'm okay enough. I'm okay in my own ways to be able to have a little bit more confidence in myself. And I think that's the important takeaway that I learned from this, is that I don't need to be Peter McKinnon. There's always going to be somebody way better than you. The important thing is to know your limitations, be upfront about those things and your equipment and what you have and your experience and all that stuff, but also to give yourself opportunities and to actually go and do these things. It might just open up a whole new world for you. It might give you that confidence to do it again. Or you might be like, nah, I don't want it. One and done. This was a good first experience for me. I was actually pleasantly surprised with a lot of things, because although a lot of them went wrong, a lot of things ended up going much better than I had anticipated as well. So that was a good surprise. So when I got back to editing, and a long majority of that was one night a couple nights ago at like 2 a.m. I think is when I finished this, which, I mean, that's when the work happens really. What I did here was, in the beginning, it's a little bit dreamy, so I wanted to add a light leak. What I did here was I just put the blend mode to lighten, and I lowered the opacity to like about 50. And I just put it on this first part. Here I didn't really do much of any color correcting at all because it was so bright, and so I said this is good enough. I'm just not gonna mess with any colors at all. I'm gonna keep this as is. When it came to the montages though, I knew I wanted something a little bit more cinematic, and so I slowed all of my footage down and I applied a LUT to the adjustment layer. And it was a little difficult to find LUTs because traditionally LUTs should be used for C-Log footage because that's meant to color correct. However, I did find this wedding LUT that actually tended to work. Initially I had more of a bluer green, but it ended up making their skin tone look a little sickly, and so I switched over to a warmer LUT, and that is actually, it was toned down enough where I could just put it on top of these montage clips, and it actually ended up working really, really well. However, the LUT did not work at all on these bright images. It was just way too orange. When it came to his audio, I didn't really cut much of it out. I didn't want to take the liberties of cutting out something that he may have potentially wanted to keep in the video. In the end, I actually was very thankful to have this long speech because it worked so well underneath the clips of them that I had captured throughout the day. I tried to also pair what he was saying with the clips that I had captured to one point. I think it was here. He talked about her sense of humor. I thought this was a really funny clip. It was natural. It was after we told like an inappropriate joke and they thought it was hilarious. And so I tried to put those laughing clips in there. Obviously she's such a sweet person and she was laughing a lot anyway, and she was really, they gave really good photos and video for us. They were really good models for that. So, and then this part was cute. She just said her heart was racing, so I dipped that audio back in. But really after that, I just raised the music here, and I ended with about a minute montage of clips towards the end, just to kind of let people know that the speaking was all done. And the end of the video is nigh. And then I just found the script font. Initially I had like sans serif font, I think. Wait, what is that? I have to get this right because my sister is a designer and she will kill me. It is right. That is what I meant. Okay. Nice. I had a sans serif font originally, and I was like, whatever. Let's just do like a scribbly nice thing. And so I did that, and I was like, I mean, it works. I also did kind of wonder if my music choice was a little dramatic, so I just chose a simple piano. I thought the song was actually pretty good for being copyright free. This song in particular actually is not a wedding song. Well, like, that's nice. At the end of the day, my clients ended up loving it. Glad you did it. So that's my experience with this. It's also difficult for me to talk about this stuff and put it on the internet because there's so many great videographers out there, professional ones who do so much better than me, and who are probably, if any of them actually watch this video, being like, no, you don't do that, you do this, and that was your first mistake, and what were you thinking, and all that stuff. And I fully expect it, but the purpose of this is to kind of show also that you're allowed to just kind of go out there and learn. I think a lot of people are too scared to do that because they know their limitations, but again, as long as you're upfront with that and you work really hard to be as prepared as possible, I think that's okay. So this is my experience. If you have any tips or any kind of insights that I may have missed, you can go ahead and put those in the comments or send them to me. I would love to read a little bit more about how to just advance and be better in the future with my videography, and hopefully somebody else could maybe learn from that. Hopefully you learned something from the video. If not, I mean, maybe the only thing you learned is now I know what not to do. But that's valid too. I'm glad I was able to help you. Thanks so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe. That's very helpful for me. And check out my other videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.